A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant turn of events, the longest government shutdown in modern U.S. history has officially come to an end. President Trump signed a critical funding bill on Wednesday night, bringing a 43-day stalemate to a close. This shutdown had far-reaching implications, disrupting air travel, leaving thousands of federal workers without pay, and affecting millions reliant on food assistance programs. The shutdown saga began in late September when the GOP-led House passed a measure aimed at keeping the government operational through November 21st. However, the bill faced a major roadblock in the Senate, where most Democrats rallied for an extension of expiring health insurance tax credits, preventing the funding measure from advancing. The political landscape shifted on November 9th, when a coalition of 7 Democrats and 1 independent senator agreed to support a funding measure in exchange for a commitment to hold a separate Senate vote on the health insurance credits. This breakthrough allowed the Senate to pass the bill, which was subsequently approved by the House 2 days later, sending it to President Trump for his signature. The numbers tell a compelling story. Since mid-September, the Senate held 14 failed votes regarding the funding resolution, leaving the government closed for over a month. The Senate comprises 53 Republicans, 45 Democrats, and 2 independents who align with the Democrats. Until the recent deal, support for the funding measure had hovered around 55 votes, 5 short of the 60 needed to overcome the filibuster rule that requires a supermajority to advance most legislation. The last-minute agreement reached on November 9th marked a turning point, allowing the funding measure to advance with 60 senators voting to end debate. The Senate passed the bill the following day. Notably, GOP Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky stood alone in opposing the resolution, citing concerns over the nation's rising debt. In contrast, several Democratic senators, including John Fetterman of Pennsylvania and Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada, voted with Republicans to support the measure. The deal that ultimately ended the shutdown included provisions for full-year funding bills, the restoration of food aid at increased levels, and a bipartisan approach to future appropriations. It also reversed government layoffs that occurred during the shutdown and prohibited them for a limited time moving forward. As part of the agreement, Senate Majority Leader John Thune committed to holding a vote in December on the Affordable Care Act tax credits. The House vote on November 12 saw 6 moderate Democrats from swing districts backing the Senate-passed deal, while some Republicans voted against it. The shutdown had dire consequences for millions of Americans. Approximately 42 million individuals rely on food stamps, known as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, which faced funding issues due to the shutdown. The USDA reported that funding for SNAP had run out, leading to anticipated reductions in benefits. A federal judge's ruling allowed for the use of a contingency fund to support SNAP benefits, but the Trump administration appealed the decision, further complicating the situation for low-income families. The economic impact of the shutdown was substantial, with estimates suggesting that it could lead to billions in losses. The Congressional Budget Office projected that the nation's economic output could drop by 1 percentage point if the shutdown lasted 4 weeks, and by 2 percentage points if it extended to 8 weeks. While some of the economic downturn is expected to reverse with the reopening of the government, a sustained decline of $7 billion after 4 weeks, $11 billion after 6 weeks, and $14 billion after 8 weeks was anticipated. The shutdown also affected federal employees, with around 670,000 furloughed and many others working without pay. The bipartisan agreement included provisions to reverse layoffs and ensure that federal workers would receive back pay. President Trump had previously announced a donation of $130 million to cover military paychecks during the shutdown, but this amount was insufficient to fully address the payroll needs of approximately 1.3 million active duty service members. As federal workers prepare to return to their jobs, the reopening of the government signals a return to normalcy for many Americans. However, the political divisions that led to this unprecedented shutdown remain, and the upcoming vote on health insurance tax credits will be a crucial test for lawmakers. As the nation moves forward, the lessons learned from this shutdown will likely shape future discussions around government funding and bipartisan cooperation. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, So hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.